Grab your umbrella, but you might feel brighter about your post-holiday budget if you stayed in the black. Now, if you went into the red, Blair Mantin is here. You deal with a lot of people who overspend in the holidays. What's some of your advice in terms of recovering from that?
Sure. You know, the number one thing that you got to do is you really got to take stock of the situation. How bad is the situation and where do you stand? So, you know, number one is when the holiday bills arrive, open them. You know, sit down, actually look at it and say, well, here's the money that I owe. Here's my plan to pay it off. Here's what I can afford to pay off each month. And then the third column, just divide the two. How long is it going to take me to pay off this debt? You know, the credit card companies even do it for you. Now they put a notice on there. If you can only make the minimum payment, it's going to take you X number of years to pay it off. If you're measuring Christmas payoffs in the years, you got a bit of a problem probably.
Probably. And when you do look at those, you know, you see the commercials with the statement that stays by the door and stays by the, you're not doing yourself any favors there. If you went Boxing Day shopping and bought that big flat screen TV that you couldn't afford at a 40% discount, collecting 18% interest, not going to help you.
No, it doesn't get better. It just gets worse as the interest adds on. Yeah.
All right. So also a health check is important.
Yeah, we've come up at Sands & Associates with a 5-second health check. Okay, you hear all of these stats in the media that you don't always understand about the debt ratio and things like that.
Yeah, I don't understand that at all.
So here's a very simple amount of math. Okay? So take the amount of money that you owe and divide it by how much your cash take-home pay is each month. Okay. So if you earn $2,000 a month and you owe $10,000, that's a 5-to-1 ratio. If your ratio is 5 or higher, you are at a significant risk of having some financial difficulties because your minimum payments are only going to interest really at that point. You know, probably about 60% of your money is just going to interest each month. You probably need to do something different.
That is very usable 5-second math because all too often people say, here's how much money I make in a year, and that's their gross.
Right.
And they're not thinking net. And after all of your bills come off of it, then there's what's left over. What do you do? Now, there are some people who go, oh, that's okay. I've got lots of money in savings. I have RRSPs. You don't want to touch those.
No, if there's one thing you take away from this segment, do not cash in your RRSPs. 2 really big reasons. So number one, you're going to incur a tax liability. Okay, when you withdraw that money out, a percentage of it is either going to get held back by the RRSP company, or you're going to get a bill at tax time, which is even worse. That's number one. Number two is those are protected assets. Even if you had to go into bankruptcy and had to, you know, really restructure your whole financial situation, the government has said nobody can touch your RRSPs. They're safe unless nobody knows it. That's the sad thing. I have people coming to me who have cashed in $40,000, $50,000 of RRSPs to try to save their financial situation. They still had to file for bankruptcy in the end, and they could have had that money after. So it's very sad. Remember, RRSPs are safe.
Wow, your RRSPs are safe if you're in debt, and you must declare bankruptcy. And personal bankruptcy is so difficult for so many people to do that they do try and claw back everything that they possibly can, but they need to come and speak to somebody like you when that situation does arise.
Well, exactly. And at Sands & Associates, most people that we see now, they're not filing bankruptcies. They're filing what's called a consumer proposal. So if you've got some ability to pay off your debt, but you just need the interest frozen and you need to just pay off the portion you can afford, maybe it's a third, maybe it's half, that's what a trustee can help you with. It's a consumer proposal.
Wow,
so you got to not be scared, go and get the advice from the professionals when you need it.
So really you got to do a post-mortem on your holiday spending and your entire year in review as you head into tax time as well.
Right, let's make 2014 the year you get debt free.
And how do you plan ahead?
Well, planning ahead, you really want to think about Christmas is going to come up for next year, so what are the things that you're going to have to purchase then that are at a really good deal now? You know, holiday decor doesn't change that much year after year. Wrapping paper, gift cards, decorations, all of those things are deeply discounted now. So if you buy for next year now, do it.
Great idea. Why not get the wrapping paper today?
Yep.
And the baubles that you wanted that are now 50, 60, or 70% off.
And they'll still look good next December.
Great advice, Blair. Thank you for being here. We certainly appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break here. There's trustee.com is a way to get in touch with Blair. Such good information. I had no idea about the RRSPs. We will continue to speak with you on that front. Thanks for that. 8:27, we're back with your news after the break. So when people come in and they're thinking about